Peace, family. By now, you are well aware of the so-called beef that's going on in the so-called conscious community. It's been going on for years. I've told you before that I like to associate with the Black Liberation Movement because movement indicates that some type of action is happening. Consciousness is not going to make you move just because you're aware. Because if being aware would make us move, then the first 1 or 2 degrees of knowledge we get, we will begin to make moves. So I want you to evolve beyond any beef that you're going to have in the so-called conscious community. Evolve beyond simple consciousness. At a community meeting about a month and a half ago that was held by Brother Irritated Genie here in the DMV. That's DC, Maryland, and Virginia, for those of you that don't know, right outside DC here. I was sharing with the group what consciousness is. And consciousness is simply being aware. That's all it is. It's nothing special, really. I said when you wake up in the morning, you're conscious. You're aware. You might be a little groggy, but you're aware of what's going on. But you still laying in the bed. Then eventually you say, you know what? I will just get on up, stretch it out. Then you're sitting on the side of the bed, still conscious, still sitting doing nothing. Hell, you might even say, you know what? I'm going to lay down for about 15 more minutes. Conscious, laying in the bed, not doing nothing. Consciousness does not equal action automatically. Some of y'all know people that have been studying for decades. When you ask them what they've done differently since they started studying, they'll tell you not much. Some people may have changed their diet a little bit. But generally, other than obtaining more information and trying to eat right, most of us, we're not really doing that. We tend to take the path of the least resistance. So let me give you a silly example, but it's an example. And remember, we're talking about the difference between consciousness and liberation. And that consciousness doesn't automatically equate to liberation. You say we gotta teach our people because they don't know. Our people know. You're conscious right now, and you're opening up the presents with the Santa Claus pictures under your Christmas tree. Because, quote unquote, as people keep telling me, it's for the kids. Anyway, let me get back to my example. Alright, so let's just say, and I'm in the hood, so I'm looking out the window and I see all the garbage right there in the gutter. I'm aware of it, and I'm conscious of it. Someone that's in a conscious community may point out the garbage, may give speeches about the litter. They'll talk about it every Sunday morning, every day. They'll get a live stream. Say, look at all this garbage. Don't make no sense how much garbage is out here in the gutter. You know why there's garbage in the gutter, brother? Y'all know why there's garbage in the gutter. Because the white man, so and so and so and so. Because the Negro-peons, so and so and so and so. That's the so-called conscious community. That's a conscious person's response, generally, not always, but generally, to the garbage that's in the gutter, or to the problem. We're using garbage as an example. So enter someone from the liberation movement. I think that conscious people don't like those of us that are involved in the liberation movement in their meetings, because we don't want to hear a 4-hour speech, a 6-hour debate. We come into the room, we hear the conscious people saying, yeah, look at that garbage, look at that trash, it's all in the gutter, it's piling up. Somebody from the liberation movement going to say, let's go get it. Let's go clean it up. Then the conscious people want to continue talking about it. That's the difference between consciousness and liberation. I say all the time that it was Dr. Khalid Abdul-Muhammad that not woke me up, because I was already awake and I was already conscious. But he inspired me to get up and actually do something. So for years I've been working for the liberation of our people. People say, I ain't heard of you. That's because those of us that are working for black liberation are actually working. We ain't got time to talk. We ain't in front of no damn cameras. But generally, those of us that are involved in consciousness, they just laying in the bed, talking, on the phone. But I met so many people over the years that nobody really knows about that have been putting in grassroots level work, major work, but we don't know nothing about them. But some charismatic person that read 2 or 3 books get up in front of a mic, and now everybody start following that person. I've seen us transition from one person to another person to another person to another person. This black so-called conscious community beef must stop.